Welcome to Photo Finds. I am your host Kevin, and this week we are starting in the Magic Kingdom, or more specifically on the Monorail Inn. So this is a view of the DVC Resort Hotel going up next to Contemporary, and I apologize for the graininess of the image. What you're seeing is actually through the monorail wrap. We are on the Iron Man monorail, so it looks a little bit different, but I thought I would show, since I haven't shown in a couple of weeks, what's happening with this upcoming DVC Resort. Now, once we arrive at the Magic Kingdom, I thought I would call attention to this. Hadn't seen this before. It's a yellow sticker of sorts on the outside of this particular handrail so that people don't run into it not noticing that it was there. So it's started to fray a little bit already, but I thought that was an interesting touch. They wanted to keep people safe. We are still outside the Magic Kingdom, and this is just around the corner from the Restroom by Guest Relations window, just outside the Magic Kingdom. And it really caught my eye. I've seen it before, although it really caught my eye this time. It's an advertisement for Angel Soft bathroom tissue, mostly because of this line, comfort where you want it, which strikes me as kind of inappropriate, actually, although funnier the longer you think about it. And in fact, the whole image is funnier the longer you look at it. Supposedly, this is common knowledge that Angel Soft is comfort where you want it. And the man is holding up a giant newspaper, which is enormous. It's the size of him. And, Andy's sitting down reading a newspaper. There's sort of symbolism there of the bathroom. Everything about that is just an odd choice for Disney to have. So once inside the park, this looked new to me. The It's a Kadoozy Ice Pop has changed its shape and color, so we went ahead and bought one. It is Wildberry and Zesty Lemon, as you can see. In fact, it says it's new on the wrapper, so we couldn't have been that far off in saying that it was new. And we're mostly here to see this. Now, this is a test. It's not open every day, and it's not open full-time, of the new interactive game in the Magic Kingdom, in Adventureland only, called A Pirate's Adventure: Treasures of the Seven Seas. And it is housed in this building, which is the former Crow's Nest sort of gift station. This is the exit over here. We'll have a look at a couple of others of the signs here. There's the entrance around the side from there near the Pecos Bill restaurant, where there's a sign at the moment saying that it is coming soon. Back to that first sign up at the front. And then the Enlist Ahead sign around the back side of the building, telling you which way to go to get into the building itself. Now, if you get issued the RFID card, it looks like this. It's in the shape of a pentagon, as you can see, kind of a doubloon sort of thing, and it's a paper-based card, as the maps are paper as well. And you hold it up to somewhere that has the RFID readers on it, and then things light up or otherwise turn on. So there's an example of the light up on what looked like a full-size crate, a normal crate. So something is illuminating from within or shining from above. I couldn't actually tell. I think it's illuminating from within. There are 5 missions. These are the 5 missions here. Each one has its own map, and I will take you through showing you what those maps look like. We'll begin with the Guardian's Curse. And there's a bit of a story attached to each one. So if you first open it up, you'll see that there's some handwriting, probably a little hard for young kids to read if they're not used to seeing that kind of cursive, which many of them are not. And then the map itself. Now, the map, as you can see, shows Adventureland, or the sections of Adventureland they need to get to. And this particular quest has these characters that they need to go to at some point. So there's a captain's hat, there's the target, the parrot, and so forth. And it tells you where to find them. And each one of them also comes with a little bit more information, like be on guard against this or that as you go close. And so it's telling you a little bit more detail about the parks. A neat little keepsake in and of itself. Haven Defense is another one. And here you can see a different storyline unfolding in this one. And then its map. So they've got different characters, obviously, at play here. Different symbols. And I like as well that there's a little bit of a line drawing showing you what you're looking for when you get there, because unlike Agent P, this game is really like Agent P. You show up and you trigger an event, and I'll show you an example of that in a minute, but there's no cell phone telling you where to go, so they have to do all of it with the map itself. So it's kind of like, in that sense, a combination of Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom and Agent P, because in Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom there are maps telling you where to go, but then when you get there it's all just screen-based. And in Agent P, when you get there, it's kind of more based on triggering a physical effect. So we're getting to the end of this quest. And then let's go to this Blackbeard quest real quick, just to show you what all of the various maps are and what the storylines within them are. And then the Blackbeard map showing you those particular quests you need to go find. Some of these, as you can see, are quite well hidden inside the shops, and they make you go to really out-of-the-way places. They do a great job of making these things not be so obvious where it is you're supposed to go initially, unless you know that you're supposed to go there, so that they don't call attention to themselves unless you're already meant to be playing this game. It's not like these game stations will be a distraction for the casual visitors just walking by. They're actually pretty well hidden when it comes to looking around the land. You wouldn't know that they were there unless you were looking for them specifically. Things really do look like they fit in. Now, they do make noise when you trigger the effect, so that will attract some attention in and of itself. So now we get to one of the effects. This is one of my favorites, actually. You hold up your card and you trigger this cannon blast, where there's a bit of a steam first, and then it blasts the cannon, and then it shoots at the water. You'll see a different picture here, first of the steam, and then shooting at the water, so it blows kind of a hole in the water. They make you trigger the event again, and then the second time you trigger it, it opens the treasure chest. And so you can see inside there's one of the treasures that we're looking for in this game. And then you get a lighted up symbol of where to go next. And you can actually see there are other symbols nearby. So it looks like the game might have some kind of smart programming in it telling you that this station is being used for multiple things and multiple different quests. So here's a different location. It looks like it's the same, but it's not. It's a different treasure chest. And this time, here's the character rising out of the ground, the skeleton, and that's the end of this particular quest for us. So elsewhere in the Magic Kingdom, it was Mother's Day, when actually the day before Mother's Day, Mother's Day weekend, and it was the day when Merida was crowned a princess, really a press event. And this caught my eye as we walked toward Tomorrowland from the hub. This is several hours after the coronation ceremony. The more you look at this, the more you recognize those are great costumes, but these are unofficial visitors. They're not employed by Disney. The girl, for instance, has got bare feet, and that costume doesn't look exactly entirely right, although it's got many elements. The Flynn Rider looks a little bit better. And as you can see, they are posing pictures with everyday guests. And Disney usually takes a dim view of this sort of thing, but I know that this particular couple didn't get in trouble because I saw them the next day, also kind of still dressed up, but a little bit less obviously. So now they're wearing different kinds of clothes in the bottom half of what they're wearing. Now it's more like inspired by Rapunzel and Flynn Rider. So I know that they were okay, and Disney must have said something to them. We bought this as soon as we saw it. It's been around for a little while. I think other people have talked about it, but I hadn't seen one personally yet. It's a Souvenir Dumbo popcorn bucket for $12, and as you can see, it was raining just before I took this picture, but it's a plastic, impact plastic kind of looking thing, and probably not that sturdy. We're not using it for much more than just being an interesting looking display, but I thought it was a neat little takeaway for the park to have. The popcorn can sit right into it. So we are here looking at something at the exit to Space Mountain, and I thought I would show that over time I've taken pictures of the various inside jokes. Some of these things on the sides give mention of rides that have closed, other rides that opened with a particular refurbishment, and I thought I would call attention to this part here. The zoning codes, those look like 4-digit numbers. I'm wondering if those are specific to a particular person, or if they're specific to a different area. Lots of inside jokes that we don't really know the story to. Progress mode below that. Foundation, build, and finalize. Who knows exactly what all of this is meant to imply. And this has to do with permissions down here. I'll see if I can get a shot the next time around of those attractions that have been closed and opened and so forth. It's around the corner from this robot at the exit to Space Mountain. Now this was a shot meant to show the similarity, which leapt into my mind, between the space station that we just saw on Space Mountain and Space Station Regular One from the Star Trek movies, the original Star Trek movies, in this case Star Trek II. It turns out, however, that the designer in question had never seen the Star Trek movie that had this space station, so what we're looking at is one of those first-order coincidences, in case that leapt to your mind as well. Now, at the very end of the Space Mountain walkway, they've recently added a voiceover and a couple of signage. I didn't take a picture last time, it may not have been there, of this kind of amber glowing light as well. I really wonder if they've had some sort of incident with the escalator recently. At the arcade next to the exit to Space Mountain, we're looking at a photo booth that lists PhotoPass on the outside. And now what is that all about? And so as you get closer and see that it's mentioning PhotoPass on many pieces of the signage, implying you can go get it from PhotoPass, there's also a bit of a reader over here where you can scan your existing PhotoPass card in addition to paying cash and so forth. However, there was no indication how exactly it works or if it works, and the cast members nearby didn't know, so we weren't able to get any definitive view on whether it works. You just show up and take your picture and it becomes a PhotoPass option you can get later on. Let's take a quick view at the Seven Dwarfs Mine Coaster and peek inside first, inside this window next to Be Our Guest. As you can see, the concrete has been laid for this corner of the track. In fact, parts of the track is now covered up, and they've got other things going in place. Mesh, this looks like the beginnings of what will be a themed environment around it. And so the rock work you see in the background began life as this kind of mesh thing. So it's possible we're going to start losing the view here from this particular window. This is the same window looking slightly to the right from there. And they've got a crossover built over the track right over here so the workers can get around to where they need to get around to. Now the backside of this mountain is really starting to come together. And as you can see here, they've got some buildings that look sort of vaguely Mediterranean to my eye. Obviously that's meant to be Germany, I think, although it looks more Italian to me. And the rock work is really coming along here. It looks like a kind of combination of Splash Mountain maybe, or even Catastrophe Canyon is the way that kind of red-colored rock looks to my eyes. Here it is from a distance over by Gaston. You can see they've only painted part of it since the front half is not even done with the rock work, let alone painted from there. Heard a rumor that the Be Our Guest lunch menu had changed, and in fact the lunch menu was not visible at about 5 o'clock when we showed up here. We went and asked for one from the cast member, and they brought it to us, and indeed, something has changed. Instead of just steak sandwich, with a kind of garlic butter, what we see instead is prime rib chuck roast beef sandwich. So this one comes with horseradish, sour cream, and the same French fries. So they've obviously changed out the steak sandwich at the Be Our Guest lunch menu. An unusual shot just to show something that was otherwise very hard to get a picture of, and that was the flies. We noticed the flies on the Star Wars Day, the May the 4th Be With You celebration at DHS last week. And they seemed concentrated around the planters last week. And then we noticed them everywhere at the Magic Kingdom this past weekend. And I mean all over, inside, outside, doesn't matter where you were. There was a housefly infestation like I've never seen anywhere ever before. And one cast member we spoke with said that it may have been a mulch problem, that Disney has changed its mulch formula recently. But whatever the problem is, they do need to get on this because the housefly problem, I've only got a picture of one on, in the frame here, but when you're sitting there, you're being bothered by 3 or 4 at any given second when you're outdoors and not moving around. This is a picture of Under the Sea, the Little Mermaid ride, of course, but what's remarkable about this shot, how clear the focus is because the figure was unmoving. So, and this is a bit of a shame that the figure was not dancing. So obviously they don't shut the ride down if one particular effect breaks. In fact, that same ride, there was a second effect broken. Ursula's got kind of a wall-eyed approach at the moment. Obviously something is not working with her eyes as well. Now back to Main Street and the Emporium. A couple of things here from the Monsters University upcoming movie. They've got not only t-shirts, these cheap-looking knockoff kind of head boppers, several different t-shirts and stuffed animals, obviously from the upcoming movie. And there's another one there, the Scare Pig, it says. I know nothing about this movie or what to expect, so I'm just kind of moving through the merchandise without knowing what it is I'm supposed to be looking for or looking at. A lot of the merchandise was kind of aimed for young kids. As was this game, it looked like kind of a croquet bowling combination or mini golf combination, I guess, built out of these domino bricks. I'm not exactly sure what the point was, and I had not seen that particular game being played before, but it attracted these kids, so it looks like it's doing its job there. Back to the TTC, where these signs they've been there for at least a week, maybe 2, but on the exit gates there are now these purple signs reminding you not to go in through the exits, essentially. We're park hopping over to Epcot, where you can see the electric umbrella appears to have had some of the awnings removed from atop it. And across the way from there, the former Fountain View Cafe has no signage saying Fountain View Cafe. It is being converted for a Starbucks. And as you can see inside, probably won't see much from this, it's been pretty gutted inside. So they're really kind of starting over from first principles. Now we're here to take one last look at the Flower and Garden Festival and the food booths, some food items I'd not tried before. The shrimp and grits here, both large and quite tasty, I thought. And the watermelon salad from the same Florida booth, also fairly large and really excellent tasting, at least that one according to my wife. The hanazushi from the Japan pavilion, also new for us. We hadn't tried it previously, a little, quite spicy, but effective, we thought. There's both shrimp and then the crab stick and then some grilled salmon underneath all of that as well, in addition to the normal sushi level stuff you would find with it. And we were here mostly to take pictures of the chicken pancake from the China pavilion, but unfortunately we ate it too fast to take pictures of it. It was that good. We wished we could see that year-round. The Norway Pavilion has a little bit of work going on, but they were actually still operating. You can see the outlines of a boat in the corner here. They were still operating. The ride was open and had a line of, I think it was 15 minutes or so at this particular point in the day. And the Morocco Pavilion construction continues for that upcoming restaurant along the water. At the moment, they've ripped down all of the structures that were here, and so it's really just walls and tenting, but they've got nothing else to look at in the area, just the construction zone itself. That is it for this week. We thank you as always for attention, and we will catch you next time.